What if the phone in your pocket right now was the spoil of war? Not a metaphor, not marketing spin. An actual war, fought in courtrooms across 4 continents, in secret labs buried inside corporate campuses, in backroom meetings where billions of dollars changed hands and careers were quietly destroyed. A war so vast, so consuming, that it reshaped the entire technology industry and left almost no one untouched. This is the story of Apple and Samsung, and almost none of it is what you think you know. To understand how 2 companies ended up in the most expensive corporate battle in modern history, you have to go back to 2005. Apple and Samsung were not enemies. They were partners, close ones. Samsung manufactured the chips, the screens, the flash memory that powered Apple's products. When Steve Jobs stood on that stage in January 2007 and unveiled the original iPhone to a stunned world, the components beating inside that revolutionary device, many of them came from Samsung. The company that would one day become Apple's most dangerous rival was at that moment helping build the future that would threaten it. Nobody saw it coming. Or maybe one person did. Steve Jobs had a temper that was legendary, but what he felt when he first held a Samsung Galaxy smartphone in 2010 wasn't just anger, it was something closer to personal betrayal. In private, he told colleagues that Samsung had stolen Apple's work, that they had looked at the iPhone, studied it, and reverse-engineered the soul of it. The rounded corners, the grid of icons, the tap to zoom, the bounce-back scroll, detail after detail after detail. Jobs made a vow that would echo through the coming decade. He would go thermonuclear. His words, not a reporter's. Thermonuclear. He meant it. In April 2011, Apple filed a lawsuit against Samsung in a federal court in California. The complaint was staggering in its scope. Over 200 patents allegedly infringed, a claim that Samsung had systematically copied the look, the feel, and the function of Apple's devices. Samsung fired back almost immediately, filing countersuits in courts in South Korea, Germany, Japan, France, Italy, the Netherlands, and Australia. Within months, the 2 companies were locked in litigation across 10 countries simultaneously. Hundreds of lawyers, tens of millions of dollars in legal fees every single month. And here is where it gets darker. Behind the courtroom drama, something else was happening. Engineers at both companies were watching each other with an obsessive intensity. Every product launch became intelligence gathering. Every patent filing was analyzed for clues about the other side's next move. Apple accelerated development of its in-house chip program, the A-series processors, specifically to reduce its dependence on Samsung components. It was a masterstroke of corporate self-preservation. Cut the enemy's revenue stream while you sue them at the same time. Samsung responded by pouring resources into its own ecosystem, its own operating software ambitions, its own design language. The war wasn't just in courtrooms anymore. It was in research labs, in supply chains, in the minds of the engineers who were quietly being told, we cannot let them win. In August 2012, a jury in San Jose, California delivered a verdict that shook the industry to its foundation. Samsung was found to have infringed on Apple's patents. The damages awarded? Over $1 billion. It was the largest patent verdict in the history of the technology industry. Samsung's stock dropped. Headlines ran around the world. And yet, Samsung did not fold. It appealed, and appealed again, and again. The legal battle would drag on for 7 years. 7 years of hearings, retrials, reduced verdicts, and Supreme Court arguments. In the end, in 2018, Samsung agreed to pay Apple approximately $539 million to settle the case. A number that sounds enormous, until you learn that Samsung's mobile division had by then generated hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. For Samsung, it was expensive. It was not fatal. But the money was never really the point. What this war was actually about was something far more valuable than any single verdict. It was about defining the future of personal technology, about who owned the visual and functional language of the smartphone era. Apple wanted the world to understand that the iPhone was not just a product, it was an invention, a work of authorship, something that could be protected the same way you protect a painting or a novel. Samsung, and much of the rest of the industry, saw it differently. They argued that rounded rectangles and icon grids were not inventions. They were ideas, and ideas belong to everyone. The courts, in the end, split the difference in ways that satisfied almost no one completely. But here is what the lawyers and the press releases could never fully capture. While they were fighting each other in court, Apple and Samsung never stopped doing business together. At the peak of their legal war, Samsung was still supplying Apple with billions of dollars worth of components every year. The OLED screen on your iPhone today, in all likelihood, made by Samsung. The two companies needed each other, even as they were trying to destroy each other. It is one of the most remarkable and quietly strange relationships in the history of capitalism. Two giants, locked in combat, holding hands. And the real casualty of all of it? The smaller companies, the innovators without armies of lawyers, the startups who looked at this war and understood the unspoken message. In this industry, you do not just compete with your product. You compete with your patent portfolio, your litigation budget, your willingness to fight for years in courtrooms most people will never see. The Apple-Samsung war changed the rules, and it changed them for everyone. Today, both companies are worth more than they have ever been. Apple crossed a $3 trillion valuation. Samsung remains the world's largest smartphone manufacturer by volume. The war did not end either of them. It made them both who they are. And the phone in your hand right now, whoever made it, whatever it looks like, exists in the shape it does because two companies once decided that winning mattered more than almost anything else. The only question left is simple. Who really won?